following the Department of Homeland Security conducting a raid at a house in Holmby-Field Hills, believed to be connected to Sean Combs, the rapper and music executive, perhaps being linked to a sex trafficking investigation.
He got some shots of a few people coming out of the home. Those people have been detained. Now we're trying to still connect the dots. We do have some sources on scene here that we're getting this information from. We were actually the first ones here with about 30 different law enforcement vehicles at least. There are 3 Bearcats on scene here. This just all unfolded, Sandra, I would say, less than 10 minutes ago. We got here even before the crime scene tape came up. So we're just down the hill. If you look up this street where Tony is right now to the right, you'll see one of those Bearcats and law enforcement. On the other side of those bushes, basically, is that home that is registered to Bad Boy Films, which is part of Bad Boy Entertainment. And the home in particular...
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of What the F with Sunny LaRue. Me, also known as a professional martini drinking blogger. We are back with breaking news. We're going to unpack this story that is coming out of Miami and here in LA, and that is Sean Puffy Combs. Yes, the entertainer, the artist, the producer. His homes, both here in Los Angeles and there in Miami, have been raided by the federal police, aka Homeland Security. So there is a lot to this story that we have to unpack, but before we get into the thick of things, please like, share, and subscribe. Don't forget to click that notification bell so you won't miss out on breaking news, updates, recaps, and more. It is the freest and easiest way to support the channel. And if you like to follow me on social media, I'm on all platforms. My handle is at Sunny LaRue17, or simply Google Sunny LaRue17, and all of my social media links will populate, and you can follow me through those means. Now, let's get into this story because, like I said, it is a lot to unpack, and we're going to be quoting multiple sources on this case. So, as you guys know, his homes in Miami and here in Holmby Hills, Los Angeles area of Beverly Hills, were raided today around 3 p.m. And as you saw in the beginning of this video, there were multiple arrests. In this arrest, 2 of his sons were handcuffed and placed in the back of the cop car while the warrant was being executed by, again, Homeland Security. So this is not state, this is federal. And it's allegedly going back to a case that they were working on in New York where Sean Combs is alleged to be, how you say it, a trafficker. I'm just going to say it, a trafficker. TMZ has the first video of Diddy after his homes were raided by the feds Monday. And instead of being in handcuffs on the ground, the guy was kind of just walking around. So it's talking about the footage that they shot. It's a private jet. They shot the footage, filmed it around 3 p.m. on Monday today, a couple of hours after the raids on his home got underway. At the Miami Apalaca Executive Airport, where eyewitnesses tell us Diddy and some other people got stopped by the feds. Okay, so there was a lot of rumor out there as we were researching this, that he was handcuffed. He was part of the arrestation going on out here in LA where his sons are. And then there was another thing that came out and says that Puffy, or Sean, I keep saying that, Sean Combs was in Antigua and living his life oblivious to what was going on, or not so much oblivious, but he got the scoop. Somebody let him on the tip to that they're going to be raiding his house. So he booked out to Antigua. Well, it appears that he was on his way to somewhere or coming from somewhere because they stopped him at the airport, according to TMZ. So let's keep this going. We told this show's Diddy pacing around outside a customs office there at the airport. And as you can see, he is not being detained, and he certainly doesn't seem to be in custody. Instead, Diddy is just walking around all by his lonesome. Okay. An eyewitness tells us Diddy was waiting on other people in his party who were stopped and questioned by feds as well during this whole ordeal, but we haven't been able to confirm who was rolling with him yet. So he was in his private jet, hanging back, waiting for his crew to come. The feds stopped them. They're not being detained. They're just being questioned at this point. Okay, so let's continue. All we know is he and his crew got stopped at the airport, where we were told he appeared to be aboard a separate private jet. And that's when Homeland Security rolled up. Like in the movies. Like in the freaking movies, y'all. I'm like, what are we watching? The Black James Bond or something? I mean, what is this? Fast and the Furious Part 17,000? Featuring Diddy and his crew? I'm just waiting for Diesel, what's his name? Vin Diesel to pop out with the voice. That's what I'm waiting for. While it might seem strange that Diddy wasn't cuffed, it's actually tracks with what we've heard about the situation thus far. Namely, sources with direct knowledge tells us he is not under arrest at this point. And more importantly, he's obviously isn't on the run either. We talked about that too as well. As we reported, TMZ, 2 separate raids in LA and in Miami went down on Monday today, where Homeland Security agents barreled through his homes and escorted people out. So in Miami, y'all see the pictures? They rolling up on the boat like James Bond. Like they're like I'm expecting Tom Cruise in Mission Impossible and pop out. Yes, they're in the boat in the water. Here in LA, they got the helicopters flying over his property, and allegedly the airspace over his house shut down. You can't come a certain amount of miles or feet or whatever to his property in that area up in Homie Hills over there where them rich people are. Now let me tell you something, y'all. There's Beverly Hills where the rich people live, and then there's Homie Hills where the wealthy people live. Just saying. And in this area, the airspace around his home is shut down. The streets and everything coming in and out is shut down. You can see the cops and everything in his driveway. And in the beginning of the video, you saw them arrest 2 of his sons, okay? Where Homeland Security agents barreled through his homes and escorted some people out. They were like, get out. There are still a lot of unanswered questions, but it would appear law enforcement officials are probing federal crimes that have been alleged against P. Diddy of late in several lawsuits, including alleged sex trafficking, all of which Diddy has denied time and time again. Okay. Now we're going to go over to the New York Times. You know, when you on the New York Times... you sure don't want to be in the New York Times with this story. Federal agents raid home tied to Sean Combs in Los Angeles and Miami. In response to questions about Mr. Combs' residencies, Homeland Security investigation said the search were part of an ongoing investigation. And we're going to talk about that ongoing investigation in a second, but let's get through this article. Federal agents raided his home in LA and Miami on Monday that are connected to the hip-hop mogul. Oh, there you go, hip-hop mogul. Sean Combs, a person with knowledge of this case, said. Homeland Security investigations, see, people are hitting me up. investigation carried out the raids, but did not provide details about the case, including whether Mr. Combs was a target or which criminal charges were being investigated. Mr. Combs, who is known as Puff Daddy, Diddy, P. Diddy, whatever, has been accused of SA and sex trafficking in multiple civil lawsuits over the last several months. And the biggest of them all was Cassie. And her case had a book like this. I kid you not. A book like this. And she allegedly settled for a 6-figure payout. And she's like, game over. But after that, things started to fall apart for Mr. Combs, because right after her case, Cassie's case, another case come up, which is still going through, and we don't know if this raid pertains to that case. And it's the case of a young lady who is a well-known entertainer. Her identity has been kept under wraps for protection, and we'll talk about that in a minute, who alleged that Combs and one of his producer over at Bad Boy put her on the plane, flew her to New York, took her to the studio, and S-a'd her and S-R'd her repeatedly, allegedly. And in that case, a ruling had just recently came down by the judge saying that you cannot be in immunity. You gotta be public. So that is going on with that case. But again, we don't know if this whole raid issue is pertaining to that specific case, or if there's another investigation that we ain't privy to. A spokesperson for Mr. Combs did not respond to requests to comment. Of course, they're not going to respond. They're trying to get their team together. They got the spokesperson, they got the publicist, they got, the image maker, all of that. Whatever. The criminal inquiry was being conducted by federal prosecutors in the Southern District of New York and federal agents with Homeland Security, a law enforcement official said. Nicholas Baez, a spokesperson for the Southern District, declined to comment. In a statement, Homeland Security said that agents from New York had executed a law enforcement action as part of the ongoing investigation with the assistance from the HSI Los Angeles, HSI Miami, and our local enforcement partners. So the video you saw in the beginning of this video shows the homes being raided. Okay. The raids were a stunning development in the career of Mr. Combs, 54, producer, label executive, and an occasional rapper who has been one of the most influential and widely recognized figure in the music business over the last 30 years. In words of Candy, I'm worldwide. He's worldwide. And now he's worldwide for something else. He played an integral role in the transformation of hip hop into a global commercial force, crafting hits and larger than life personas for rap and R&B performers like the late Notorious B.I.G. and Mary J. Blige. He also made smash hits himself with songs like I'll Be Missing You, in reference to the loss of his friend in 1997, Notorious B.I.G., and so on and so forth. Okay. However, Mr. Combs has also been dogged for decades by accusations of violence. Are we surprised? We ain't surprised. Are you surprised? I'm not surprised. I'm surprised people are brave enough to come out and speak to it now after all this time. In November, he was sued for SA by Cassie Ventura, his former girlfriend. And so they're talking about that. And we already talked about it. I don't want to go back. Federal investigators in New York have been leading the investigation and have been conducting interviews, asking potential witness and about sexual misconduct allegations against Mr. Combs for several months, according to a person familiar with the interviews. Mr. Combs has denied the accusations, okay? But in December, this is the lawsuit that we were just talking about, after an anonymous woman filed a lawsuit accusing Mr. Combs and two other men of R-ing her in a New York recording studio in 2003 when she was 17. The music mogul said, "Sickening allegations." This is quote Sean Combs. "Sickening allegations have been made against me by individuals looking for a quick payday. Let me be absolutely clear. I did not do any of the awful things being alleged here." Okay? All right. So the bottom line is the grand jury in New York gave the prosecutors the go-ahead, and the judge signed off on the warrant. They coordinated this simultaneously raid of both Miami and LA home to surprise everybody and not give everybody the drop. Okay, so whatever they're looking for, it could be as small as a thumb drive. It could be a shoebox full of pictures that are not the best. It could be various things that they find out through this investigation thus far that they need more evidence. Obviously, something is there if Homeland Security is on your ass. Oh, child. I wouldn't want to be Sean Puffy Combs right now. No way. So let's talk about the allegations. Okay. Now, here there's a local radio station called KFI 640. You can get it on the iHeart Radio app. Thank you, iHeart. Thank you, KFI. You guys should be paying me, but you're not. And I listen to, it's a talk radio. And I listen to Bill Handel in the morning. I listen to Gary and Shannon. And I listen to the Mo Kelly show. Okay. And Mr. Mo Kelly, who is a music insider, often spoke about things going on at Interscope Records because he worked there, he's seen it. And when all this was coming out, he didn't sound surprised. And I'll leave a link to his show in the description box. You guys should check it out. He's really good. And he's telling all these stories. All of them. And I'm like, what? But you know what? Before I get into that, he made a good point, Mr. Mo Kelly. Mo Kelly made a valid point. When you've been doing this for so long, getting away with it, you think that when you punch your card, you're going to just keep punching the card and just keep getting away with it. Eventually, it's going to catch up to you. Now, judging by the rumors that are out there and the people that are coming forth and the people who are spoke on it, who've been around him, who's been in his inner sanctum, Puffy Combs or Sean Combs inner sanctum and speaking on it, I don't think the lawyers are going to be able to help him out of this one. And I wouldn't be surprised if there's jail time. Because there's a lot. I mean, a lot. And if they're rounding up witnesses to these alleged SA accusations, and Homeland Security, the feds, is jumping in on this, I don't know. I didn't know that they were like investigating him like that. Like they're investigating him. And maybe this has have nothing to do with him. Maybe it could be somebody within his camp that they're investigating. But if that's the case, why are they going in looking for stuff at your house, Sean, if they're investigating somebody else? You're tied to this. But the power that he had over people is gone. And we're in the Me Too movement. We're in the cancel culture. And people out there, they're not going to put up with it. You shot me 20 years ago. I wasn't going to say something then because I didn't want to lose my life. I walked out of that nightclub. Well, actually 30 years ago. I walked out of that nightclub alive. And I like to keep it that way. But now with this Me Too movement and cancer culture, no, you shot me. And not only I'm going to tell it, I'm going to sue you. Your bad behavior is coming back to bite you. And it is what it is. It's sad to see his legacy go down like this. It's sad to see his kids in handcuffs, his sons. That was like, whoa, that right there. I was taken aback by that. I was like, why are they putting these kids, well, they're not kids, but young adults in handcuffs? Homeland Security is not playing, and I would not want to be on the receiving end of one of them warrants. But you guys let me know what you guys think in this about the story in the conversation box down below, because I know you guys have a lot to say and I want to hear it. Just be respectful, okay? Because this is an adult forum. I don't micromanage, so just be respectful. Everybody's not going to have the same opinion, okay? But let's keep that conversation going in the conversation box below. And as usual, child, I gotta go cook me some dinner too. My ass is hungry. I'm hungry. But I'm gonna finish my coffee and I'm gonna eat my crumpet and then figure out what I'm gonna eat. And then I'll get back at doing some more research for you guys. And Diamond gotta go for a walk. But that's a me problem, not a you problem. All right, guys, thanks for watching. As always, I'm going to get back at it, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye.